Hello everyone, welcome back to the Zach F1 channel and welcome to everything you need to know going into the Silverstone Grand Prix for 2024. It's going to be a great weekend. It's the third race of this triple header. Sadly, we've got to wait another 2 weeks for another F1 race. I know, sad times. However, there's a lot to be excited about for this race, and let's go through some things you should know before watching the Grand Prix this weekend. Start off with the track in general. So first off, there are 18 turns around this track. There should be 52 laps this race weekend for the race, and the lap time record is held by Lewis Hamilton with a time set in 2019 of a 1 minute 27.369. Now overall, the track has two DRS zones where we've got two basically long straights, one in sector 1, one going into sector 3. They're both pretty good for overtaking. However, this isn't the most overtaking track of all time. Averaged out about 30 overtakes in this era of F1. We had 26 overtakes last season after lap 1 on track overtakes, so by all means definitely not as many overtakes as Austria or Spain, but all in all it still ends up being a great race because of how these overtakes happen. I'll talk about the first DRS zone, which is after turn 5 going into turn 6. Turn 6 is a massive swooping corner, so you see a lot of drivers still going side to side after that straight, and once they're side by side they're going into a very fast corner pretty quickly, and sometimes it doesn't really work out. But that's the beauty of this Silverstone track, because you do get to see some amazing side-by-side track. We've even seen it where it does work, and it's just beautiful to watch. We've then got Maggots and Beckett's before the long straight on turn 14 to turn 15, and this is just another beautiful section. So there's a lot to love about this track. It's why it's one of my favourites. I mean, I'm a little bit biased being British myself. However, all in all, gotta be one of my favourite tracks. Definitely top 5 on the calendar for all of its drama and just all of its beauty. And then to top it off, we have one of the longer pit stops in the F1 calendar, with the pit stops being around 28 seconds to 30 seconds. Can be longer if you have issues, but it's purely because you go into the pit stop before turn 16, so you've got to go all the way around a bend into your team's pit stop area, which does mean we get a little bit craziness with the strategy, because you don't want to be in the pits too often at a race like this, because you lose so much time. You lose almost a third of the lap going into the pits, so it really has to be worth it. And I mean, we've seen where some drivers have taken it to the max trying not to pit, and sometimes it doesn't work out as well. We've had a lot of issues with the tyres of recent. Let's talk about some exciting things that have happened at Silverstone. So of the recent years, we've obviously had in 2022 Carlos Sainz winning his first Grand Prix in F1 for Ferrari. It was a beautiful moment. Ferrari weren't really that supportive, but we move on from that. Should have stayed at McLaren. Look where he is now. We've had 2023 when Norris and Verstappen were fighting. It was the first time for a little bit where we've actually seen a lot of fighting with Verstappen. He still won by quite a bit. However, then we saw Norris and Hamilton both on the podium, both battling for second place. That was another beautiful moment. And we've also had, obviously, like I've already mentioned, Hamilton and Verstappen's crash in 2021, which was a massive point in that 2021 season. And then we can look even further back as well, where we've had in 91, Mansell winning the British Grand Prix and giving Senna a lift after he pushed a little bit too much. He didn't have any fuel left in his car. However, you could not get away with doing something like this now in F1. There are way too many rules. We've seen it in the late 2010s, but I doubt if anyone tried to do that now, they'd probably get a lot of penalty points, or the team would get issued quite a hefty fine. However, it's just a great moment. That shows the old school F1 style. We've also had Schumacher winning Silverstone in the pits. Yeah, I mean, it was so controversial as well, because technically he crossed the line. He tried to serve his penalty that he had, although he'd already crossed the line, and it was all this hullabaloo of, well, should he still get a penalty where he went into the pits? Crazy. He still ended up getting the win because he had such a big winning margin to Hakkinen. And then also we had Hamilton winning his first home Grand Prix in 2008. Now, he's won it multiple times since then. However, he's the last British driver to have won the Silverstone Grand Prix. Could it change this weekend? I'm hoping so, but we'll see what happens. So we always get a lot of drama waiting around the corner at Silverstone. So let's actually talk about some key information for this season you need to know, and let's talk about some upgrades, because that's the big deal. And the first team I want to talk about is Haas F1, purely because their upgrade package, it's been rumoured it's not going to be that big. from the sounds of it, but Komatsu's been saying since Spain they expect some package in Silverstone. But what's more exciting about this is because they're coming off that really great weekend at Austria, obviously coming P6 with Hulkenberg, P8 for Magnussen. They've got quite a hefty package at the minute, and if they're improving that, especially in a midfield fight where it's so tight between especially Alpine, Haas, VCarb even still, and in that fight between VCarb, Alpine and Haas that's emerging, Haas are really pulling through at the minute. And to an extent, so much where they could be even pushing down Aston Martin. Who would have thought Haas could be battling even for P6? I thought they were going to be rotting at the back of the grid for most of the season, but hey ho, we're getting some great racing from them. So I'm really excited to see what they bring for Silverstone. Even if it's small, it will help them a long way. And then you have the three big teams potentially bringing upgrades, and that is Red Bull. Again, another rumoured team to be bringing upgrade packages, and it's purely because of Helmut Marko again. He's the one spilling all the beans always about when their packages are coming. He said he expect Red Bull to have a package for Silverstone. Again, nothing crazy is coming Silverstone way upgrades wise for any team I talk about. They're all pretty small packages. However, again, in a fight where we've got the midfield battle pretty tight and the front of the grid pretty tight, if Red Bull can find a 10th or two, that will dramatically increase their chances of winning. In the battle, especially between McLaren's Lando Norris, it could be very useful. And then we've also got Ferrari, again, rumoured to be bringing upgrades. Again, nothing major because this is just going to be improvements from their Barcelona upgrade package they brought, because they basically really quickly brought that upgrade package to Barcelona. They sort of still need to tinker it a little bit, so we'll be seeing a few revisions to what they've done to the car. However, again, nothing too crazy. I still don't expect this to push them ahead of the Mercedes, McLarens or Red Bulls. And then we also have Mercedes, again, more small packages. No one's got big packages on the F1 grid at the minute. But again, this is just rumoured because of how they're doing their upgrades, because they've been bringing small extra details to the car from upgrades every single race. Basically, they're expected to be bringing some to Silverstone. So hopefully it can push them closer to Norris and Verstappen, but only time will tell. But it's really exciting because at least we're getting some upgrades. As Austria, yeah, we had a few upgrades to McLarens, which made them push a little more. However, bar that, there wasn't too much to talk about in Austria. So Silverstone, it's quite exciting to see what all the teams can bring. And then I think I only really want to talk about two other things. And the first thing I want to talk about is Russel being a great underdog. So I haven't talked about him much this season. I'm starting to get really impressed with him at the minute. Yeah, he kind of bottled Canada, but you could also say Norris bottled Canada. A lot of people bottled Canada. He led a few laps in Spain, definitely not with the fastest car, had a great start. In Austria, he did get lucky, but he sat only around 10-15 seconds behind the leading two while they battled out, crashed into each other, picked up the pieces, won the race. And with these Mercedes upgrades, like I said, if they can just bring a small upgrade package and be able to fight, mark my words, if George Russell doesn't get another top 4 race finish in Silverstone, I will make a video of just saying George Russell's name 1,000 times on Monday morning. I really don't want to do that because I practiced it for about 50 times, and even 50 times takes about a minute, 2 minutes. And even though it's only 1,000, I really can't be asked to do that. But I'm just so adamant he's going to get top 4. I could say top 3, but I actually think Piastri's getting 3rd place. So I don't think he's getting a podium this weekend because I've been seeing stuff from Piastri as well. I won't talk about him too much, but Piastri's been getting very unlucky, and I think we saw last season he did well here. I think he'll do well here again as well. And then again, to finish off this video, I'll talk about Norris versus Verstappen. I've talked about this quite a lot on my channel of recent, so I won't go too much into detail. Basically, just bringing up the same points of, I don't think this is over. They're not going to be friendly. I expect to see some contact between them. I don't think they're going to fully crash out, but someone could lose a bit of their front wing. Someone could damage the car a little bit. I'm just expecting it to get a little bit feisty. But anyway, what do you guys think about the Silverstone Grand Prix coming up? I'm super excited. Are you guys excited? Because yes, there won't be as many overtakes, but the overtakes are normally really good. We normally see some good fighting at the front of the grid. We've got Haas versus VCarb, Alpine, Aston Martin. We've got the top 4 as well. It's just such a good time to be an F1 fan. I mean, I can't remember the last time I was looking at Austria where we had like the top 8 cars on the grid. Technically Ferrari, not really anymore, but all of them could have got pole position, and it's just so exciting. I generally can't remember the last time I was watching F1 and that happened. You've got to go back to the early 2010s to be seeing stuff like this. So super excited. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Love you lots, and I'll see you all later for another F1/F1 Fantasy video. Bye bye.